Do you feel like you might be burning out or feeling something a little bit beyond burnout, maybe feeling quite anxious or even a little bit depressed? If so, this week's episode is for you. So, in the past week, there's been some big news in the media with two big name celebrities actually committing suicide, Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. And these events are so tragic and they're really upsetting. And it really got me thinking about our expectations that we put on ourselves, right? Like, I think we have a tendency to feel like the negative emotions that we feel, maybe sadness, grief, pain, anxiety, doubt, and fear, we feel like these are quote unquote bad things and we label them as bad. And we feel like we should beat ourselves up because we're not feeling the good emotions, happy, joy, freedom, abundance, bliss, all these wonderful words that we use to describe what it is that we do want to feel. And the truth of the matter is, those darker emotions that we have aren't really bad. They're simply part of the human experience. Now, obviously, in the case of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, something more serious was going on where they actually eventually did take their own lives. But I'm talking about for us in the day-to-day management of life. Shit's going to come our way. Everything is not going to be perfect. There are going to be days when we don't feel so good. And there are going to be days when we feel amazing. And if you're feeling like you're in that phase of your life where things aren't good, actually they're pretty bad, I invite you to sit with that for a moment. And just ask yourself, can you let that in? Can you allow it? Can you sit with it? And actually ask yourself what this experience is about. Because often what I find is that when you sit with the emotion, there's something deeper underneath. So at the moment, I am doing further training all about feminine embodiment. And it's really interesting as we work through some of the emotions for ourselves personally, there's always a tender truth at the bottom underneath it. And very quickly you can access it if you allow yourself some time to feel and process the emotions. Quite often what we can do is we can feel these sensations of negativity, maybe anxiety, maybe even a bit of depression, hurt, overwhelm, these sorts of things, and we can squash them down. We can make ourselves wrong. We can say, I'm not going to deal with that. I'll come back to you later. I've got to soldier on. And that's not necessarily a good thing. So if you're in that state, I really feel for where you're at. And at the same time, I invite you to liberate some of these feelings. Play with some of these feelings. Ask them what they're trying to show you. And here are 3 things that you can do and try to liberate some of that pain. So first and foremost, what you can do is my favorite technique. Actually, I've got 2 favorite techniques. Number 1 is to journal. Write out what you're feeling on paper. It might feel really awkward. You might not know what to say, but just say, I'm feeling stressed about this. I wish this was different or whatever was different, and get it all out on paper. And there's something very cathartic about the process because it gets it all out of your head and onto paper, which is great. Number 2, what you can do is you can go out and move your body. And you can do this a more active way or a more passive way. So an active way would be to go for a run, go to the gym, have a hard session, and really work at it, or even do a really tough yoga class. The more passive approach is to go for a walk in nature and to simply be, enjoy. Notice that bird that's singing over there in the distance. Notice the river that's flowing and how elegantly it does that. Look at that budding flower. Really appreciate nature. And it really helps you to kind of recalibrate and recenter and feel a sense of calm, which is fabulous for your automatic nervous system and kind of restores you back to wholeness. The third thing you can do is talk to somebody about it. Get help. Speak to somebody. It can be a friend. It can be a mentor. It could be a coach. Whatever you feel comfortable with, don't keep this alone inside of you. Liberate it, talk about it, express it. So those are 3 ways you can start to liberate some of those negative emotions that you're feeling. And remember, you're not alone. It's part of the human experience to go through the downs and the ups, and you are not alone. So leave a comment for me and let me know what you're going to try. Are you going to journal? Are you going to exercise? Are you going to reach out to a friend? I would love to know. And in the meantime, have a beautiful week.